Generally, you're going to have to choose between past tense and present tense, and the truth of it is, it doesn't matter which one you pick. Genres have different conventions. You will find past tense a lot more in sci-fi fantasy. You will find present tense a lot more in literary fiction. And some people are really bugged by reading the other one. What we find is most of the time readers barely notice, and their brains interpret them the same way, and you're really not going to have a problem whichever one you pick. There is a slight argument for present tense feeling more immediate. I haven't seen this really work that way in actual practice because people just filter out the tense as they're reading and get into the story. The only time I've seen tense used really in an interesting way is Elizabeth Moon's Speed of Dark. It's a really good book. I recommend it. It's far future science fiction, but the only science fiction element is a cure for autism has been discovered, and the protagonist is autistic and is deciding whether to take the cure or not because it will change his personality dramatically if he does. And his scenes are written in present tense, and everyone else's scenes, when it jumps to other characters, are written in past tense. And the jump between the two is jarring. It throws you for a loop for a second, and makes like this little extra interesting speed bump moving between the different viewpoints to kind of, in a way, reinforce and remind, hey, you're going to the viewpoint of somebody who sees the world in a different way. And that changing really was quite dramatic for me, and I think it worked really well. So otherwise, maybe other people will say something different on this. I don't think it matters. If you don't care yourself, write in the conventions of the genre and subgenre that you read the most. Try not to accidentally switch between the two in a book. There is a certain author whose first book in series just halfway through switched from past to present or present to past. And when I asked the author, he's like, oh yeah, I just wasn't paying attention and it just never got revised or changed. And I'm like, oh, that's a bad reason to switch between tenses. And it was at an arbitrary point in the book, and I was just trying to figure out, like, what is he trying to say? What does it mean? And what it meant is that the book's production was rushed to meet a deadline, and nobody caught the fact that it changed tenses somehow.